Hello and welcome to the Unranked podcast. This is the 360th episode. That's right. We've gone around the world. We have a lot of degrees to cover here. I am Christian Humes. We have Alex Tuna Marinella.
Yep.
Blast from the past. He's wearing his fractured E3 shirt once again. Daniel Weine.
Slurp.
And inputting us into the stream, it's Tom with now defunct website, Caswell.
What's up, everybody? 360 degrees of Unranked.
Yeah, it's the Xbox 360 episode. We're only talking about Xbox 360 games. And I should just say, for a disclaimer, if that got you excited, that's a lie. We're probably not going to do that at all.
What if that was just the whole episode? Was we're just talking as if nothing has happened since the Xbox 360?
We go back to 2005.
Like nothing in the world has happened since then. We just go back and pretend.
Bush is still president.
Nice, to be honest. I mean,
None of us have graduated high school.
The 360 you're talking about here.
Well, true.
Right? Because the majority of the 360 would not be under Bush.
Right? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Only 3 years. So
yeah.
Let's get away from that.
Let's get away from old W.
All right, I've got two boys here that may or may not know who this Pokemon is. Let's find out. Today's Pokemon is Wynaut.
Why not?
Wynaut.
Okay.
W-Y-N-A-U-T.
It might be three people who don't know this one.
Not. So W-Y.
W-Y.
It's a dragon.
Oh, it's a psychic type.
It's a dragon looking.
That's a good start. I like the dragon part. I get that. I get the
not. So not.
I'm thinking like dragon astronaut, but that makes no sense.
Not. It's a dragon from Boston.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't go with like are you doing dragon because of like a wyvern?
Wyvern. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I'm surprised you didn't go with something nautical themed.
It's an underwater dragon that evolves from a plain old fish.
No, it actually has
that's Gyarados.
It's not really the thing. It's not a dragon. It's psychic type Pokemon. It's the pre-evolution of Wobbuffet from the second generation. So this is a pre-evolution.
What was that? Can you do that again?
That Pokemon. Wobbuffet.
No, not that one.
No, you're a little rendition of the.
You should go check out the anime. See how it talks. You've probably heard him in Super Smash Brothers. He's a Pokemon that'll pop up through Pokeball. If you hit him, he will hit you right back. Stands there. He kind of looks like the little punching bag that you have on the ground, the inflatable ones. So when you hit it, he'll like bounce in one direction, then bounce right back and hit you. That's essentially his purpose in the Smash Bros. Games, in the anime, in the video games. That is sort of he has reflect. He's able to absorb and then just bounce back attacks. That is kind of his signature as far as the anime is concerned. And this is his pre-evolution. It's a cock of balls.
Hold on. I haven't looked it up yet.
He's got long floppy ears, but he's basically got a dick on his head and two little balls for feet.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like it. A condom was put over it.
Do you remember the show The Oblongs?
Yeah, I do.
This looks like some kind of mutant thing that an Oblongs character might have out of their head.
It kind of looks like someone is wearing a shuppet on their genitals. If you remember the Shadow puppet Pokemon, because it has the same kind of body right there on the bottom, and it has the same shape. They just pop some ears on that bad boy.
Wait, this is what it reminds me of.
It's a very strange looking Pokemon.
According to Bulbapedia, the name origin. Name origin may be a play on the phrase "Why not?"
Yes.
Because why not?
Because why not? I guess. Fuck it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
We're not giving him an evolution, but we'll give him a pre-evolution because why not?
Right. I mean, that's
terrible.
Wow.
I've never liked Wobbuffet.
Okay.
And
that's the end of that sentence.
By extension, I like this even less.
Why don't you like Wobbuffet?
Why not?
What's wrong with him?
I mean, what is he? First off, he's just a big thing. Looks like a thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And then he annoyed the piss out of me in the anime. Every time he'd fucking show up. Because
he was kind of like Psyduck and Jigglypuff, that sort of reoccurring character that would just pop up.
He kind of looks from behind. Why not? Kind of just from behind. Looks like a kid. Looks like E.T. in a hoodie.
No,
E.T.
Okay. Yeah,
from behind.
The long sort of what look like dog-like ears, it actually can use their like appendages. It uses them as arms, and it uses them to like climb and run around. It's a very, very strange, fucking bizarre Pokemon, and then that is kind of how you get to the name, because someone there was like, "Fuck it, here you go. Why not?" That is definitely the design, the makeup of this Pokemon. Maybe they had a quota. They were like, we needed X amount of Pokemon this gen. Here we go. This was in someone's drafts at one point, and there we are. Let me give you a Pokedex entry.
Okay.
Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Dan, you're back. You pick Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Which dex you want?
Emerald.
Emerald. A Wynaut loves to eat sweet fruits. It cleverly picks fruits using its ear-like arms. They gather fruit in gardens drawn by the fragrance.
Ruby.
Wynaut can always be seen with a big, happy smile on its face. Look at its tail to determine if it's angry. When angered, this Pokemon will be slapping the ground with its tail. There you go.
I forgot the other choices.
It was Sapphire, but no. Waste of a poke.
It's not a great Pokemon. Not a whole lot to talk about here. It's kind of ugly. It's kind of dumb, but why not? Dan, where you been? What's going on?
Where you been? Where you been?
I've
What you
been
been
places.
What are you buying?
Let's see. Last time I was on was
around,
before
boy.
Christmas, right? Like, that's been a while.
Yeah,
was it before Christmas?
It was like way before Christmas. It was like start of December,
like first half of December at some point.
Yeah,
I've been places. Yeah, none of them at the moment were that memorable because I can't think of any offhand. But a lot of places for work and stuff, and I've been around here for the most part for the last couple weeks, but just not around on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So, therefore, have not been on the show.
Am I misremembering, or did you get COVID on your travels?
I did in the summer and spring.
Never mind. I thought maybe I was thinking that you got it.
You are either thinking of someone else or misremembering.
Maybe someone you knew got COVID or something. I can't remember, but
it's possible someone I knew. I don't think so, though.
Anyway, well, I'm glad
you.
Let's
go into this further. Dan, can you reach out, see if there's anyone that you know?
Yeah, should I see if anyone I know that they know maybe had COVID?
Yeah, let's take a deep dive on this. Tom, pull up your
study.
Text,
how many
COVID.
How many degrees away from COVID am I?
Work backwards to who this is.
I mean, the amount of people over Christmas who got sick. I mean,
I'm still not totally better from my pneumonia. I had to go to the doctor and get a bunch of blood tests and stuff. So they're like, you should be better. I'm like, yeah, I should. I'm like mostly
you gotta
better,
stop hoarding all that liquid in your lungs.
I still have a slightly sore throat and shit. So
oh my god, that super sucks.
I've been like semi-sick for a month. It's been very annoying. You playing anything, Dad?
I had been playing High on Life, and then I stopped. And then the Justin Roiland news came out, and then I don't know if I'm going back.
That's correct. That shit is.
It's
crazy,
also really hard to play that game without thinking about him.
Yeah.
All of the voices of the guns, for the most part. Not all.
I didn't even know who that guy was.
From Rick and Morty.
I only watched the one episode that you had me watch.
Well,
that one time.
What episode did you have him watch?
Fuck if I know. This is probably 2 years ago.
2? This is like
this is like way back
5 years ago. This is
okay. Fine. It was even longer.
I think anytime we try to remember anything now, because of the pandemic, tack on.
Yeah, it's all thrown off.
2+ years.
Yeah, it's
tack
crazy.
on anywhere between 2 to 3 years now.
Next year,
get older.
next year will be the show's 10th anniversary.
That is not true.
Rick and Morty, not ours.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and
Oh,
Morty.
I was like, I'm like, Tom, you are
Oh, fuck.
give it a couple of years.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me.
Tom's like, I like to add 6 years.
We are 3 years away. No, we're 3 years away from
Okay.
Unranked.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. I actually, this is wild to think about, Alex, because I did realize this the other day. We met in like 2nd grade, so we're about 7, 8 years old, probably. I think.
Oh,
Okay.
7,
right?
probably.
And then I moved away basically when we were 16. So we knew each other about 9, 10 years. You've now known Tom almost as long as we did when we were growing up and became friends. That's how long you have now known Tom.
I will say there is a big difference there though, because when you're kids, you're spending a lot more time around each other.
Whoa,
Of
whoa,
course,
whoa,
of course.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second.
Yeah, see, I knew
So-
you would find this more interesting than it
Yeah,
sounds
this
at first.
this is way more interesting. So hold on.
Yes.
So we met when we were like 7.
2nd grade, I know we knew each other by 2nd grade. I don't know
All
if
right,
it was
so that's-
before then, but
So that's like
guaranteed.
7 years old.
Yeah.
And then you moved away when you were
After
14?
10th grade. No, just before 16.
He
You
said
were-
16.
You were about 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah,
so
so-
9 years.
Yeah.
And
Technically, you met Tom in 2010 when you
but
came.
we're
and
not
worked at the
gonna
store, but
we're
not
not
gonna
gonna count that. We're not gonna
Yeah.
count that.
So
So
you've
like
known Tom now since
2016.
2016. So 7 years.
Which to me seems like such a quick amount of time. But our
Yeah.
friendship for the 7 years that occurred, and then the 2,
Yeah.
there's going to be 2 extra. But you tack on 2 more years of me knowing Tom, it's not going to feel the same
No,
as
of
the
course not.
9 years that I knew you. That feels like a fucking lifetime.
Because at the time, you
Mhm.
hadn't had that much life. Like that was most of what
Exactly.
your
Yeah,
life
yeah,
yeah,
it was-
was.
it was in the dark, yeah.
yeah. No, I know. I get the whole thing that when you're like,
yeah.
when you're
That's why when you
10,
get
it's
older,
only a
time moves
10th of your
faster.
life. Then it's an 11. It's like, yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. That's the argument for why time goes faster. But fuck.
That's wild, right?
But a lot of stuff, but I will say Dan's right that like a lot of stuff happened. We hung out a lot. So
Yeah.
like
I mean,
a
we
lot
were in
of
class
stuff
together.
happened.
You know,
Right,
We were in
right,
scouts
right.
together.
So that's
Yeah,
why it
like,
also
even
seems
just
like a lot
hours
more.
per-
yeah.
That's why
hours
it seems
per
like a lot
hang.
more happened.
So
Right.
your HPH was much higher than it is probably
Yes.
Yeah.
knowing Tom.
Yes, of course. But it is interesting. It is interesting.
It
is.
Especially
It
considering
is.
you now get together and talk like once a week at least with Tom on a Zoom. It's
On a
kinda
Zoom,
wild.
at least. I try to text this guy. He's got his notifications silenced.
Yeah.
The way to live. The way to
Ridiculous.
live.
Tom,
I mean,
you just
I-
have D&D
I
on,
alert-
right?
I
my
alert
D&D
you
on.
anyway.
You've got your D&D on.
Do not disturb.
Oh yeah. I got shit out the
You
max.
think he meant Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I thought he was referring to like the Avatar D&D game and like
Oh.
making sure I had notifications on for when we play that or something like that. Yeah, no, I have all that shit. I turn off notifications from sometimes not even like do not disturb. Like sometimes it's like I have not given you permission to give me notifications.
What is that?
Wait, what?
And not
Go
in
on.
the messaging app, but like
Oh.
when I download a new app and it's like, do you want notifications? I'm like, from this app? Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I mean, I
different.
do that for every
Yeah.
single
Yeah,
app.
same.
I
That's
have
what I'm
no
saying.
notifications for any app whatsoever.
That's what I'm
you have
saying.
so you don't know if notifications come in at all on your phone, or are you talking about the red dots?
No, I'm talking about notifications do not come in on my phone unless it's text. I enabled them for Discord, and that's it.
No email.
No, email? No,
What about
absolutely
Amazon?
not.
What about Amazon?
no
Ring?
fucking way. Amazon and Ring? Oh, okay, yeah, fine. Amazon and Ring.
Because
But-
I've got my Shopify, basically anything that's like deliveries, packages,
Right.
text messages. That might be
Yeah.
it. That might be it. I don't even have email, but I have do not disturb on, so like my phone will never vibrate or ring.
I enjoy the new one where it's like, can we share the information from this app with other apps? And it's like,
No,
no,
fuck
I'd rather you didn't.
Right.
Yeah. For quality assurance,
They
can we
ignore
can
all that
no,
anyway.
Fuck you. You absolutely cannot.
They ignore all that anyway. They
Can we
just steal
track
your data
you?
anyway.
Yeah, but I like to at least.
Yeah,
Like, if
I
you're
like to
gonna
tell
ask
them
me,
to
I'm
fuck
gonna
off.
say
Yeah,
no.
I like to tell them to fuck off, but
I'm
they
still gonna
found
use your
sneaky
stupid
way.
app.
They found basically all of the data, the data that they were finding, they found sneaky ways to like basically create as close of an approximation to it as possible. It's fucked. It's all fucked. We're all fucked. The future's going to be ads, selling ads to ads.
Why would an ad want an advertisement?
Because the robots just a circle, baby.
There's so like one of my
360.
favorite conspiracies, which it's so hard to enjoy a conspiracy nowadays. But one of my favorite conspiracies.
You can't enjoy a good conspiracy
I know,
nowadays.
but I do like the people who think Rome is fake because I think they're nuts.
Wait,
they're
I
so
didn't know
crazy.
that was a thing.
They don't.
Yeah,
What do you
we
mean
talked
they
about
don't-
this.
They don't
We
believe
talked
in
about
ancient Rome.
this.
They think it's all like a plant. It's all a lot. Like they
It's all
don't.
a hoax.
They're like it was put there to make you think it happened.
Of all
so
the
fucking
things,
crazy,
of all
bro.
the things.
But my other favorite one is that like there's basically no one on the internet, and a lot of people in the world are just gone. Like most of the world population has been wiped out, and like everything on the internet is just bots, and there's like very few people left, and like you're almost
There
never
should be.
interacting with real people.
I mean, some days I interact with so few people that could be true. Yeah.
I travel around this country enough where I've seen real people, so I believe they exist. Or at least I
Wild,
think
man.
I'm traveling. It's very
wild out there.
possible when I'm in the air, they're just changing out sets beneath me.
Yeah, like a
It's-
Truman
it's
Show
true.
kind of situation. That would be
Yeah.
fucking insane.
We just got humanoid robots walking around with fucking chat GPT.
It would be way too
It's just-
high a production level compared to what I deserve for them to be doing
yeah.
that.
If they
and
did a
changing
Truman,
weather patterns
But
and all
that's
sorts of stuff.
ultimately the argument like against all conspiracy theories, right? When you stop and think about it, if you're saying you go, boy, we need a lot of like really coordinated people that are just like gonna give their entire life to this. They're never gonna fuck it up. They're never gonna tell
Yeah.
anybody
But,
about
like,
it. Everyone's gonna
here's
do
the
it
thing.
perfectly. Everyone's educated on it. Like we can't get anything
So-
done correctly. You
so
think
the
that
other
people
day-
are able to fucking pull these conspiracies off? Like what? We're a fucking
The other
inept
day I had-
species.
I was heading out of work. I headed to the train early, and I realized I have 20 minutes. And I walked out of back out of the train station and just elsewhere, just walking around. And I had the thought. I did have the thought. I was like, if this was like a Truman Show thing, that would have thrown everyone through a loop.
Mhm.
Like I'm just doing something really unexpected and going in some random direction. It'd
I
be
rewatched
way
it
too
recently. It's
high.
great.
Yeah,
Fantastic
it's
film.
way too fucking impossible.
It would be cool. All right, so pitch for Truman Show 2, right? So spoilers for the Truman,
Truman Show 2, Amnesia.
He escapes at the end. It's a Matrix resurrection situation. They plug him back in, right? Wipe his memory. He's back in. It's the same plot, right? So he's starting to get an inkling. He wants to leave. They're like, "Oh, okay." That now they have contingencies for when he wants to go on vacation. Get him on a plane, right? Put a bait, like the old movies where they put the horse on the treadmill and like the background is on like a fucking rotating thing. Do that on the plane, right? It's an 8-hour flight, and then it's just on the side of the plane, and then you just see the whole town, and they just like are swapping out the sets. They get new cast and crew in, and then he lands, and boom, he's in Fiji.
I was gonna say you're doing it way too complicated. They don't have to like kidnap him. Literally, just take it from like when he escapes, and then just do it with Fiji. Like while he's on the way to Fiji, just set it up there.
Yeah, they should have done the thing when he opens the door. They've built another set. He steps into it. He thinks he's in the real world.
Yeah, that is definitely the
yeah.
way to go. Because the second you started this with the whole, I'm like, why not just make it so that his escape was actually a part of the plot the whole
I
time?
mean, his
And-
movie. Jesus Christ! In the movie, his mom, they're like looking at pictures of when they went to go to see Mount Rushmore, and she goes, "Yeah, you slept the whole way. You slept the whole way there." And he goes, he looks and he goes, "Those look really small. Like what the?" And then she closes the book.
Yeah.
Good film.
So ridiculous.
Great. I mean, the
Great movie.
ending is fantastic.
Great.
Did you
So
cry?
The rest
good.
of the movie too.
No, but the music coupled with
Yeah.
the whole thing is just
The framing of it all. Yeah.
the whole. It's so good.
Yeah.
It is. It is so good.
Yeah.
That was.
I will
That
say
was. God.
For someone known for his comedy, when he started to go into his not that funny phase, he actually did a pretty good job.
He's got
For
a
most of the
ton
movies.
of excellent dramatic roles.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not all,
Yeah,
but
like
yes,
the number
Not all.
3.
Not
Yeah.
all, but Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind to
Eternal
me
Sunshine
is
that was
on,
really good.
is on
Very
is
good
on a
movie.
Truman Show level.
Supposedly takes place in Rockville Center.
Yeah.
Filmed in
Yeah.
Yonkers.
Or he's from Rockville Center. Right?
Well, parts of the
Isn't that-
movie supposedly take place in Rockville
Yeah.
Center, but those parts were filmed in Yonkers, which looks nothing like Rockville Center.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks something like a.
Someone
our
that
town.
made the movie, one of the people that made the movie, I think, was from Rockville Center.
I think that's why
Which
it
is
came up.
why
Yeah,
they
they
wrote
wanted
that.
to use like the Long Island Railroad, and they're like, "Oh, I want to use that stop," and then they
Yeah.
couldn't film here because it's too expensive.
When he walks
Yeah.
through the the library, when everything's like collapsing, he walks through the library and it's like the lights are going out, and he walks into the house. Very cool, sick film. Both
Yeah,
amazing.
great
films.
Sick.
Jim
Sick
Carrey
film, bro.
had a
Sick
great
film,
career.
bro.
Had a
What do you
great
mean
career.
had?
I give it
Still has
two,
Sonic
yeah,
3.
bro.
It's got Sonic 3.
Sonic
yeah,
3,
I'm very
baby.
excited.
What
I'm
do you mean-
so
what do you mean-
excited for Sonic.
What do you mean had?
I'll be honest. If you like right now, Sonic 3 and Avatar 3 are coming out at the same time. I don't know which one I'll be seeing yet.
The Last Airbender.
You know?
Which movie about
The blue main
a
character.
blue main character you gonna watch?
No, Avatar: The Fury of Fire is going to be the
Mm.
next one.
Ridiculous.
The Fury of Fire.
Fury this.
Because we know it's fire people, right?
All right, well, hold on.
Dictated that.
Did Dan get to Dan? Did you want to say anything that you did, or is it just that you were away and
And now he's back.
you got anything? Did anything funny
let's
happen?
see.
Did anything weird happen? Did anything? Did something happen that you want to complain about? Did
What's
something
the best
happen?
thing you ate?
The best thing I ate is
I asked a bunch of questions. You want with Chris's?
I just felt
I
like he was
mean,
going to answer that one more.
I
than
needed
any
a
of the other
specific question.
questions.
I needed one specific
I just,
one.
I just felt like whenever I asked all the questions you've asked him, the answer is kind of like, eh.
Stupid.
Best thing I ate was probably when I was in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale for.
Lauderdale?
I couldn't say it.
I'm
No,
not
I know,
making
but
fun of
I'm-
you.
I'm
I think
shocked
calling it
for
Fort
years.
Lauderdale is funny.
And I had
I'm
a.
shocked that the best thing you ate's coming out of Fort Lauderdale.
We were at a fancy Italian restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Like I
In
wanted to tell
Fort
ya.
Lauderdale. I feel like
Yeah,
the
and, I
fanciest
had this,
restaurant
like, veal-
Florida has is
I had this
fucking
fancy
Olive
veal
Garden.
dish. It was delicious. It wasn't.
There's so
Olive
much
Garden.
money there, Alex.
Miami
I've
has
been to
so
Florida.
much
It's not that
fucking good
great.
food,
Where are
dude.
you going
Where
when
in
you're in
Florida?
Florida, Alex?
Fort Lauderdale.
You said you didn't see the McSorleys there at all.
It's true, I didn't.
So apparently there's a McSorley's in Fort Lauderdale. and
Really?
There's
Yeah,
a McSorley's in New
yeah.
York City. It is based on that one in New York City.
I was
but
gonna say,
not at all like it.
yeah, no
So it's on, like,
sawdust
the-
on the
it's-
floor.
It's it's like along the beach. There's a picture of New York's McSorley's on the wall.
Mm.
Apparently the guy who bought it used to work for a nightclub in New York City, and
Uh-huh.
just was like, I want to open a place in Florida. I'm going to call it McSorley's, and just took the name, and who
Florida.
cares?
Give me a break.
They're not at all related in any way besides that.
My friend who
So it's
lives
not that entertaining.
my friend who lives in out west, there's this place called Original Joe's, and there's like a couple of locations.
Mhm.
And then
Which one's the original?
I'm not sure, but he was
There's an
just
original
basically saying
Joe's.
he was like, yeah, it's my favorite place, and then I went to a location in like a different area, and everything was like off, and the menu was off, and like it kind of looked like Original Joe's, but it wasn't, and the food was terrible. And I looked it up, and it turns out it was just like a disgruntled former employee of the Original Joe's, and just opened up his own place called like Original Joe's.
Famous
Some,
Ray's. Original
some
Ray's?
franchises are like that though. Like you know how like if you go to a McDonald's, you're getting pretty much the same menu across a country,
Of course.
not
Sure, of
across the
course.
world, but across the country.
Sure.
Like Kennedy's Fried Chicken is a good example.
Mm.
Who?
So Kennedy's Fried Chicken, not KFC, but like the other
Right.
lesser known one, because there's no continuity between the menus. No matter where you are, you can just open it up. You get access to their fried chicken recipe and whatever the
Mm.
fuck else you want to do. So I've been to some that have like halal food. I've been to some that have just like other stuff, burgers and like it's just a
I've
fucking
never-
mismatch or whatever.
If you lived in Brooklyn, Tuna, you'd know Kennedy Fried Chicken because it is
Got
everywhere.
There's one in Hempstead.
There you go.
I don't really. Well, I did go to him. Anyway,
He doesn't really leave the house.
I haven't left. I don't. I
Doesn't
really.
left
When
that
don't.
you were in
basement.
law school, you would have passed this a decent amount. Of time to get there.
I leave the house to run.
Oh, you're working
Errands.
out, getting runs.
No, run
doing
errands.
job.
He's
I
got
don't
the
know.
runs.
Do I lead like a sad
do I?
existence here?
Well, you just leave a
A lonely existence.
remote existence.
There's nothing sad about the word lonely.
Look at Alex is just looking off into the distance like right now.
What have I done?
Oh my god, he's going into a fugue state. Someone help. All right, we want to talk about what's going on, what's happening, boys. We want to talk about some games. Where do you want to?
I feel like we already talked about what's going on. I feel like we could talk about games. We did a game club game.
Oh, we did do a game club game.
We
did not
played
talk about it.
PiKUNiKu.
Now you're just
I
making
thought
stuff up.
I thought it was a great game. I had a great time playing it for the 3 hours that I
guess-
played it.
Should we do our game club discussion? Well, this will be a very short one because it's a very short game.
Sure.
Okay, so we're gonna do our game club discussion. I do want to say at the start of this that we have stupidly, and this is something we used to say, if you're playing the game along with us, which I know some people are, because I had a couple of people actually request like time codes in the show notes because they were like, oh well, I'm playing it now because you guys are gonna talk about it.
Right.
But they didn't want to hear a discussion, so I'm gonna put the time code in the show notes so you can check and see when this begins and ends if you don't want spoilers. This is not really a game you need spoilers
It's
for.
not
but
a game
whatever.
you need spoilers.
It's not a game you need
Um,
spoilers for.
However, the other thing is email at unrankedpodcast.com or go to questions for the pod. You can also call in and leave a voicemail, 805-738-8692. Share your thoughts on whatever the game club game is, the one that we just did. If you have questions about something, if we didn't say something about the game that you thought was interesting, what you do or don't like about the game club game of this week or next week or last week, tell us.
Right.
Join
And
us.
also, so Dan, fun fact, we brought back Game Club.
I think
Well, we
Dan,
bring-
yeah.
bring it back
I
basically
had
every
pieced
year.
that much together.
And then, at some point we get too busy to do it. So we're like, all right, we're going to stop doing it for a bit. And now
Yeah.
we go back to it again. We like to be optimistic.
Let me ask this. Tom, did you play this game?
Yes, I played it. I didn't finish it despite its short length. My intention was before this pod to get it
Much
done,
like your love life.
but
Hey,
that doesn't quite work.
Did you play this more or less than
It's
Pentiment?
around there.
I mean, I played it less than Pentiment because I played Pentiment. But yeah, no, I played probably like an hour or so. But I was basically working today up until we recorded this pod, so that plan to get it done was out the window. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it is.
What was it? Tom, give us the elevator pitch of the game. Go.
You are playing as a little blob in what looks essentially like an MS Paint world, and you are kind of tumbling around, shall we say, trying to kind of maneuver with a kind of clunky, the whole thing is like it's kind of clunky, mechanically clunky game. And the conceit is that you are this character in this cave that is freed, and the whole townspeople think you're this beast. Yeah, that's the idea. And the charm of it comes from like the sound effects and the dialogue and the quirkiness of it.
That's fairly accurate, I would say, especially if you played the first hour only. Because I
Chris,
think the
would
first
you like
hour
to-
is the worst of the game.
Chris, would you like to pick it up from there?
Better. I would like to ask Tom, is there anyone in the chat that can verify that our audio is coming through?
Uh-oh.
There are people in the chat. Yes, Slater and Ibanez Man are both in the chat.
Why? Because you're not recording this?
Correct. It's fine. I'm gonna start recording from here anyway. But yes, that is why. Because if you start it before someone joins, which I usually start it like well before we start recording, it gets all fucked up. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean,
Great.
according to everything, we should be good.
right.
Ibanez says we can hear you.
And then
Yay.
can't
Sweet,
hear anyone,
sweet,
which
sweet.
is definitely fucking with us.
We are not smart.
Uh,
And Ibanez wants to know, Dan, what are you eating?
I already shared that. It's an Icebreakers duo.
Oh, there you go.
Ice-
Oh, the
Icebreakers.
old icebreaker.
Sponsor me.
Friends of the show, icebreakers.
Perfect time to ask for ad money right now.
Yeah.
So
All right, so Chris, finish it up.
I've been taking notes on every game I'm playing, just small little bit of notes throughout the year.
Okay.
I've made a note so that I can remember, but also that way at the end of the year I can see how many games I played. I wrote
How
very
quaint.
little for this
'Cause
because
it's
there
a very
wasn't
little
a lot to
game.
say. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like a children's TV program. Like it's got the art style of like a Peppa Pig. However, the jokes are clearly made for adults because they're very like subtle jokes about like gaming and other things that are in it or things that are kind of ridiculous. And I was shocked that like honestly, I think the humor of the game might be one of the best things in it.
Yeah, because the puzzles are basically just mini games that are not very difficult and are like you've done it a million times in other games.
The second or third hour, they were way more fun because mechanically you were just doing more. Like, you know, like when you know, once you like head to the woods, like getting to the woods was like a little bit more interesting than the other stuff you did. And then like the volcano stuff was like, okay, like I had to think about it for maybe like 30 seconds at most, but it's very straightforward.
Basic.
Very straightforward. What do you think about the achievements, Alex?
So the achievements piss me off because there are 2 achievements that I saw that are totally like you can miss them. And
I knew that one of them was the fucking dancing one.
The dancing one I knew was an achievement. I fucked it up.
Me too.
I literally got out of 100 something. I got like 96 correct, but I was like, oh, I'll just try again. But you can't try again. And if you want to try again, you got to start a whole brand new game. And that's not happening. So fuck that. And I'm not going back to this game. And I'm not 100%ing this game.
No.
On a scale
you also need to do co-op to 100% the game for achievements.
Also that too. Yeah.
On a scale of not to it is, how much of all that in a bag of chips would you say?
This game, I'd say it's a bag of chips.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
Like a 7.5.
He just told us.
Oh wow, that's sorry, I missed that. That's higher than I thought. I would give it like
in his bag of chips way.
Oh,
you'd give it like a 6.
I would give it like a 7.
You know,
and maybe even like just slight. The problem is there's nothing broken in the game, right? So I don't want to like. I wouldn't give it a low score, but it is. Yeah, it is like it's a small bag of chips, right? Like I guess you're like, well, I ate something.
Yeah,
that was nice for a very short period of time.
Yeah. All right, Tom.
All right, so that's the end of PiKUNiKU.
That's the end of PiKUNiKU.
There's really not a lot to say.
Quick game, not a lot to say.
I will say this:
if you're bored one afternoon, you want to boot it up. But
if you have local co-op, so if you have someone to play with, like a partner to play with or a friend, if you've enjoyed something like Snipper Clips, it's not quite as good, but it is more in that vein. It's not the campaign, but it is separate puzzles where you're each playing as the monster, and they're like very simple, like physics-based puzzles. I actually think that might be more fun and better than the campaign, but I only looked at that very briefly. So if you enjoyed something like Snipper Clips with your partner or your friend, then you might, or your sibling, you might like this. That would be the one thing I would say with that.
Ibanez says 7 is a good game. Are you saying it's better than average? Which I think you're saying it's better than average.
No, because I'm not. These aren't Game Zone scores. I'm not putting the 5 as average.
But that's how that number works.
Yeah, but you know what?
Well, no, it's not. It's not how that number works.
Here we go.
It's totally subjective. So for me, that's not how that number works.
And the scale is subjective.
So I mean, I will also say that on 1 to 10 scales, right?
How many scales do you get?
2, 3, 4, and for the most part, 5 don't exist on my 1 to 10 scales. On my
They're
1
only
to 10
there
scales,
to tell you how bad something is.
Right. 2, 3, 4, 5 is irrelevant. It's bad at that point.
Yes.
If it's lower than a 6, it's bad. Right.
Yes.
So they're all 1 at that point. There's no point in playing it. So you have a 1, and then you have a 6, which is like it's playable, but I wouldn't finish the game. 7 is it's good and I'll finish it. 8 is it was great.
So it was good, above average.
It was good. It was a good game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good game. It's just there's not a lot. It's a
there wasn't a lot.
Very straightforward. It's not going to really surprise you at all. Like honestly, the only thing I was surprised by was like, oh, it was kind of funny. Every now and then there's something kind of funny in it.
Right. It was like, oh, all right, yeah, like a little chuckle here, like a little, all right, little smirk.
Good joke. Oh, I like this. All right.
So on my scale, the 9s are going to be fucking amazing, and the 10 is like, I wish there was more game. Give me more of this game. Yeah.
Did you go to the beach?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I was a little unsatisfied by the beach.
I
came all the fucking way back here just.
Yeah, I knew because I knew there was something there, and then I was like, okay, let me go back.
I had to know because I'm a psycho.
Yeah, I had to know exactly. Same. Yes. I had to know, and I go back, and there's nothing there. Well, there was something there, but it wasn't anything crazy.
Slater in the chat says, "Whatever happened to Chris's game scoring scale from bad to purple? How was this game?"
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the rainbow, right?
Yeah,
it was on
you
the
had it.
rainbow,
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
You gotta
about
bring
the
that
rainbow.
back.
I think the
'Cause it's a
only game on
Spectrum.
there is Assassin's
It was
Creed.
a Spectrum.
Yeah, it was just
what was it?
Assassin's
Assassin's Creed
Creed.
Valhalla, and it was like a green.
Well, you know
Assassin's
what?
Creed Valhalla.
You know what?
Learn
I'll
for
tell you what
reading
happened
for
with that.
Spectrum.
I got
Dude.
at the beginning of the year, I get confident I'm going to do stuff, and then you start to do it, and then you
Yeah.
fall off.
No, yeah,
It's-
absolutely. I feel that.
The one good thing that I do every year is I always start to I'm going to try and read, the equivalent of a book a week. I never have gotten it. The most I've done is over 20, but still, because I try it, I end up reading a lot more books than I would if I didn't. I would forget what games I did, and I wouldn't write anything down, and then I would be like, oh fuck, I need to add them to the image because I was going to make a big image.
Mhm.
I'll restart it because now I'm tracking all the games that I have. So I would put this on the Roy G. Biv. Amber. It's like an amber.
Means
Oh
nothing.
wow! So it's
See,
even.
I was thinking you were
it's
going to go
even
more
like,
macaroni and cheese.
Ugh.
Because Tom, the Roy G. Biv scale is more like the Game Zone scale, but because it's it's got 2 axes in the way that it works, it's a little different. But yeah.
Does your scale happen to lead to a
There's
pot
a
of
whole
gold
other
at the end of it?
axis. There's a whole other axis. It makes it completely different.
Yeah, I mean, if I
Anyway.
could 3D model this in Maya, we would go full with it.
Yeah,
I
you
could-
see,
I could
even
have multi
even
dimensions.
even as is now like, well, that's low. That's lower.
Yeah,
than,
because you've confused him with this 7 and yellow rating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because yellow
Yeah.
is way.
Yeah.
Yellow is a 4.
It was actually more of an oi than
Plus
anything
a-
else, 'cause
plus-
it's more of an
Plus
orangey
an
yellow.
Honestly,
undelineated axis.
I got to see what the hell that thing looked like to actually even know what the fuck I'm talking about here.
You're gonna pull the file, and
I
it's gonna
could-
be the scale, and then the
Yeah.
cover up for Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
Valhalla. Like
I
smack
totally
dab in
forgot
the
I
middle.
did that. That was insane.
It's so good.
Um,
I'm glad Slater pulled it up, and you can pull things up during the show as well by joining us live. You can subscribe to Patreon via the Discord. Oh, sorry, subscribe to the Discord. To forget about Patreon.
Don't subscribe to the Patreon. It
Don't
is dead.
subscribe
Stop
to the Patreon,
subscribing.
please. Don't do it. Go to the Discord,
No, I'll lock it.
Spartan
I forgot to
channel.
do that.
We've got some fun ideas to make that subscription even more worth people's while going forward. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to put some links in our Discord for our Spartans to some of the bonus content that we've done from the Patreon, just because once the Patreon's locked, that stuff is just
Right,
dead.
they can't
we'll
access
put
that.
some of those links for older bonus content in there for
Yeah,
people that haven't
It's
seen
a
it.
lot of work to get all that transferred
Yeah.
over from
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
I've found.
That's why we hired the best.
So-
Icebreakers duos.
Who was it? Someone Slater in chat was like, oh man, I remember the times when it just could eat mints for dinner. It brings me back to my 20s. Okay, so the next game we're gonna pick, I was gonna pick something else, but then a new game came out, and
Oh,
we'll
thank
cover
God!
this.
I'm so glad you're picking this.
Yeah, of course. I want to play. I want to play it, and I've played 2 hours of it already, and I can't wait to get into more. But it's called Hi-Fi Rush. It's a brand new game from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda. It is an action rhythm game. And it shadow dropped during the direct they had the other day, and people cannot sing its praises enough online. So we're gonna play that.
Honestly, I thought you were going to say we were going to be playing Goldeneye because that'll be on Game Pass tomorrow.
I was considering it, but the thing is well, we wouldn't be playing it on Game Pass probably because we'd probably be wanting to play multiplayer on Switch. But I don't know how much meat is on the bone of that game. I'm so unaware of. I know the.
I mean, I'm going to
multiplayer
be
exists.
playing the campaign on the Xbox because it'll
Right.
just be rendering at a higher resolution. So I'm going to play
Yeah.
the campaign on the Xbox. But
Is the
multiplayer on Switch.
campaign worth playing?
I wonder-
I don't
Campaign's
know how
so
much of this.
fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what? You don't like the campaign of Goldeneye?
I feel like the multiplayer was what made it a thing.
Well, yes, the multiplayer is what made it a thing.
So
but the
like
campaign
having a
was-
game, having GoldenEye without the multiplayer is kind of like
No, it has multiplayer.
me
it just
coming
doesn't have
on with
online multiplayer.
my lips sewn shut.
It doesn't have the online multiplayer. So
Well, wait,
that's-
this is
But
this
that's
is
the
so
whole point.
wait, hold on. This is so ass backwards.
No one sits
the
in someone's house
Xbox
anymore.
Game Pass game doesn't have multiplayer, but the Switch does.
And
Yeah.
you know the Switch is gonna have the best multiplayer.
How does Xbox in 2023 release a game that had multiplayer in 1998, 6, whatever?
they're
because
allowed.
it wouldn't be released. Nintendo wouldn't allow it.
No,
to be...
yeah,
I can
Nintendo
tell
was
you
like,
right
no,
now,
you
it's-
can't have that.
Yes, because
It
Nintendo.
was a licensing issue.
There are
Fuck off.
so many complications
not
with
Xbox
this
fault,
license,
for sure.
Enough of this.
which are why it has never been out. Which it's why it's never been re-released. It's why it's been like 20 years since fucking game. It's been like over 20 years since the game came out.
25.
We haven't had
26 years.
a
26th
re-release of any
anniversary
kind.
this year.
And the reason is for the licensing. And basically, Nintendo must have came to Microsoft and been like, this is our fucking deal. And I bet that they've come to that table multiple times before. Because Phil has even said that. Phil Schiller
Phil
said this.
Schiller.
No,
Holy
not Phil
shit.
Schiller.
Wow.
Wrong Phil. There's so many Phils in gaming.
Wrong Phil.
Too many Phils in gaming, Tom.
Too many Phils. Too many Phils.
But they've said before, like, GoldenEye's never happening. And now it is happening. So someone tells me someone at Microsoft is like, fine, just fucking, we'll get it in, ours will play in 4K. Ours will render out at a higher resolution and play at a better frame rate. So we'll have that advantage, but they'll have the online. And
I mean,
basically
I
what
feel like Nintendo was like,
concession
if
was.
we can't do it well,
Right.
no one's gonna do it
Right,
well.
that's
Like,
definitely
fuck
what it
off,
was.
dude. Like, you guys suck. Fuck Nintendo.
It's a shame.
Tuna's gonna be chanting his tune when Tears of the Kingdom comes out.
I
Yeah,
did,
but that's the thing. Like, Nintendo, like, they come out with these great games every once in a while. Give me a break.
right. I can't, in like 4 months, he's gonna be like, this is the best game I've ever played. I haven't been upstairs in a week. Brittany thinks,
Right.
thinks I'm
I've
working.
had-
I've taken
Right.
I've
vacation.
had my
I've
mom
had a
and my mother-in-law
vacation.
come over pretending that I'm working, but I'm not, to take care of the baby.
I've had to play
yeah,
it with
so-
headphones on so they can't hear it.
So, Hi-Fi Rush, that's going to be the next game we're playing. This will probably take us both weeks. And, you know, hopefully it ranks high. Hopefully it's an indigo or potentially even a violet.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you,
ultraviolet.
right. But I'll tell you a game that is a fucking orange and maybe even a fucking red.
Oh,
I don't even know what the fuck you're
Forspoken.
talking about.
oh, okay.
First of all,
Forspoken.
Tuna. So on the scale, a Roy G. Biv scale, red being
yeah.
the
Roy B.
lowest,
Jiv.
violet
Red is
being the
low.
highest.
Okay, I just wanted
Red is
to.
low.
I knew
Red is
that.
low.
Okay, so the Forspoken is terrible.
There you go.
Forspoken. Yeah. So this is a game from Square Enix.
Disappointing follow up to 3 Spoken.
It's
Heyo.
it's specific. It's basically like, what if you made a Final Fantasy game, but not nearly as good, and it's someone from the real world was like dropped into that, right? So it's an isekai is the term for this in Japanese culture, where you take someone from the real world and you put them in a
It's a
fantasy
fish out
world.
of water. It's
Yeah.
a fish out of water story. I don't know why we had to start using that term in America because we have so many anime fans. It's a fish out of water. It's a stranger in a strange land. It's there.
Well,
there are
that's
many
just
other
the
versions
term
of it.
that in Japan, right? For that story, and this is the
And
Japanese game.
Chris's point is, we have a term for that here.
Right.
We don't
but
need
it's a
another term.
It's a Japanese game. Like it is billed as an isekai
Sure.
because it's a Japanese game.
I
Like I wouldn't
think
use that term for an American.
it
published
needs
game.
to be more concerning to people that Tom is saying this game is awful. Because my general response to when Tom says any new game is good is that he's not going to like it in a few months. You like this. You hated this instantly.
Oh yeah, from the. Oh, I didn't hate. Okay, I don't want to say hate.
Oh, so this might be good, is what you're thinking now.
Oh, you
Maybe
think it might
switches
be a
around,
flip?
But
Well,
I
I
was
was
saying
telling-
maybe this is awful. Maybe this is beyond bad because he's
Well,
already
beyond
down on
bad.
it instead of
I
his normal
made-
like way too high.
I put up a review on TikTok, and someone commented after it came out, and they're like, "Oh, I picked it up and it was great." Just 2 days ago, and then like I
Game of
got
the year?
I checked the comments, and they replied like 2 days later, like, "Never mind, it's shit." Yeah. So anyway, Frey, she is a young woman in her early 20s, who's born and raised in New York City, living on the streets of her whole life. And for some reason, she likes to say, "That'll be my ace in the hole," a whole lot. She says that a lot while in combat. Clearly not written by anyone that understands what young people, particularly young people from
Sounds
New York,
like the
say.
cat's pajamas.
Exact, dude. Seriously, that dialogue would be if she was like, "This is the cat's pajamas." It would totally fit in with the rest of her shit.
Do you think that's a translation issue? Like the translators fucked it up?
It's written by American writers. It's written by Gary Whitta and Amy Hennig. Amy Hennig having
were they like
been-
on drugs?
I don't. So I think that
Is
what
it
happened,
like tongue in cheek?
I don't know
Depends.
what I don't know where this game went
I
wrong.
just don't know.
Game developers online have said like that games go through so many different like processes when it comes to the writing, because the writing happens so early, and then they start developing the game and changes have to be made. Things don't line up with gameplay, so that's why like game writing and gaming in general is like, for the most part, not as strong as like movies and stuff. And that's why when you get a game with a good script, you're like, thank God. But script aside, it's not even necessarily the dialogue that's the problem. It's the world. It is the characters. Frey totally like doesn't have, her only defining factor is she's an orphan, right? And that she's grown up on the streets. When she gets into this new world, she's so inconsistent with her choices and actions. Like 1 minute she's horrified at the idea of like having these powers and like killing things, and the next thing you know, she's like totally like on a murderous rampage of like, I'm gonna kill this person over this death that happened and all this. The characters aren't fleshed out. The combat and movement, so the gameplay is she has these magical abilities, and she can like basically run like the Flash across this world, which is totally barren and empty and just like filled with monsters to kill basically. And that can be fun, and the combat can be fun, and it looks amazing. It's so many particle effects. There's this move where you like throw like a water ball, and it like grows and like is like dripping water and engulfs enemies, and when you throw another one, it explodes. And so it's visually
using nanite.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I don't. Yeah, no, it's using the Luminous engine. Like it's using the studio's own engine.
It's supposed to have their own, right?
Yeah, it's their own engine. So, and like there's a move where you like smash the ground and these roots come out, and then somehow you can upgrade it for there to be more, and it's all very impressive, which is why the PC version like requires like 32 gigs of RAM at minimum for it to run, because there's
crazy.
Yeah, it's like, or maybe that's the recommended and 16 is the minimum, which is still like very bizarre. But Returnal is having the same thing, where it's like 16 is the minimum to run all these particle effects. But my biggest problem is like the story is just so boring. It's so cliche, and you see every twist and turn coming. Like it's like the game is forecasting it. Like it's just like screaming at you, like, oh, this is actually what Frey's history is and origin, and this character that you think is this person is actually this person. Like all of that is so predictable. And so when it tries to do the big reveals at the end of like, oh, actually this was happening, and it slows to a crawl. You finally get all of the powers, because you get like, you start off with earth abilities, then you get fire, then it's water, then it's lightning. And the moment you have all four, it takes them away from you, and it makes you slowly like kind of go through learning all of the story, and you're like, I fucking know. Like it was so goddamn obvious. And honestly, like the game is at its best when the story is over and you can just go into the open world and run around with these powers. And it's a lot of fun when you can run into like zombie hordes basically and like take out a bunch of enemies at a time. That's when the combat is most fun. But sometimes it like has you fight just like one big beast, and it doesn't smartly have used the abilities, because each of them have their own like weaknesses and stuff. So it's like it's only weak to lightning. So I'm not switching between them quickly. I'm only sticking with lightning, and I'm just using whatever availability is available on the cooldown. And like, so and that the enemies are just huge bullet sponges that don't have you thinking about using the movement and abilities tactically, even being limited into a single pool of attacks. And
how much of this did you play?
So I beat the campaign. It is thankfully incredibly short, but also like so surprisingly short. I thought I didn't think I was going to beat the campaign, because I was like, I'm not putting 30 hours into this.
Yeah.
But I played 14 hours and beat the campaign.
That sucks for a game you don't like.
Well, I'm glad to have known like, oh, it is just, and I'll tell you this, I'm gonna give a little bit of a story spoiler for Forspoken. It's not, in my eyes, it's not a spoiler because it's heavily telegraphed from the very beginning.
This is for the listeners, by the way. None of us here playing this.
Yeah, I know you guys don't get. For the listeners, if you're playing Forspoken and you don't want to know, but you've probably beat the game by this point because it's very short. The whole thing is there are these things called the Tantas, right? There's 4 Tantas that are these matriarchal overlords of this world. And as it turns out, Frey is the daughter of one of them. And like, shocker, surprise, like the girl who was left as a baby by the Holland Tunnel that when as an adult discovers a portal at the Holland Tunnel to go into this world, turns out she's from it the whole time. She's a daughter of one of these. She's a daughter of one of the. Yeah, Chris, like, wow, really? Wow. Holy shit. She's the daughter of one of these Tantas, and the Tanta, you never learn who the father is. You never learn who the father is. But the Tanta is like.
How are you spelling this word?
T-A-N-T-A.
Okay.
T-A-N-T-A.
Okay. Making sure it wasn't taunt.
No, not Tanta.
Tanta?
So you're communing with her spirit, and she's like, your father was from your world, from the human, from like our world, right? She's like, your father was from your world. He was a hero in his own right to his people. And I was like, wait a second. She's 21 years old. This game was meant to come out in 2022. She's from New York. I was like, are they hinting at the fact that her dad was like a firefighter in 9/11? Like, remember that fucking movie with Robert Pattinson where it's like a love story and it turns out in the end he worked.
Twilight?
No. There's a movie, and I shit you not, it came out in like 2009, 2010. Yeah. It's a love story.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
It's a movie where it's a love story, and it's all about these people's, like, just like this man and this woman, Robert Pattinson. I forget who the other person is, but he like works for her dad, and he works for this company. And the last bit of the movie is like, this love story's been playing out this whole time. The last bit of the movie is the Robert Pattinson standing in the window of this building, and the camera pulls out. And it turns out this movie takes place in 2001, and Robert Pattinson works in the fucking Twin Towers. And it is the day. It is September 11th. And I really thought that this game was going to pull something like that at the end. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because of how ham-fisted and just like cliched everything has been up until this point. The reveal hasn't happened, but I totally think like if they ever make a sequel, or maybe there's like more, because you can find like bits of information as you go. Maybe there's more stuff that hints at it. But I was so convinced that was where they were going with this story, which is honestly why I was rushing to finish, because I thought to myself, if this is the case, this game is going to be like the biggest meme for the whole year. Like no one is going to be talking about this game for anything else other than that fact. And so yeah, anyway,
it's too bad. They should have done
it. They should have committed, honestly.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So that is Forspoken. You can have fun with it. The problem is like, well, you have to get through the campaign to get all the abilities. And the game is most fun when you have all those abilities and you're just doing open world stuff. But as Dan said, I like most games, like even like bad games. Like,
you don't just like them; you tell us they're amazing, and then like a week later, you're like, it was pretty good, and like by the end of the year, you're like, that game sucked.
Well, I don't think any of that has ever happened, but this is a bad game, and I don't think people should spend any money on it, at least. And the other thing is, like, even if it came to like PlayStation Plus as a freebie at some point, like the time investment, I just don't think is worth it either.
Well, it is at least not long.
It is, yeah. It's thankfully very short. Yeah, and yeah. So that was Forspoken, and I'm much more excited to play some Hi-Fi Rush.
All right, hell yeah. I played something this week.
Ooh,
actually over the last week. So I downloaded on my Steam Deck a really fucking cool game called Case of the Golden Idol. And I know we just talked a lot about Pentiment, and one of our few gripes with Pentiment was the inability to actually solve the cases, because you're a character in a story that is like predetermined. Like, you are essentially destined to fail in one way or another. But what your failure looks like and what that story becomes is like, the point of Pentiment. Whereas this game is just a straight up like murder mystery style game.
Mhm.
It takes place, trying to remember, I believe it's the 1700s, and it's this like occult story where there's this sort of secret society and there's this golden idol. It was this treasure that was found, and it clearly has some sort of magical abilities. And each chapter of the story is basically a murder or death, where it's like that was either caused by the idol or someone wanting to take the idol or get the idol. It's like it all surrounds this. And so like you're always following the idol from chapter to chapter, and you're coming across like, oh, this has happened now. And like I'm in the third chapter of the game now, and I'm aware of like all of the like main families that are involved now in this, and both the kind of occult nonsense that's going on, as well as like recurring characters and last names. The way you solve the puzzles and mysteries is very interesting. It is a point and click game, and you have most of the time it's a maximum of like 3 rooms. So you're just like going from one room to the next, then you go back, and there'll be different things you'll click on. You'll click on the people, see what they have on their person. You'll look through drawers, you'll look through coats, etc. You'll gather a bunch of information, and then you switch out of the like exploratory tab into what they call thinking. And in the thinking tab, there'll be a sort of God, what were those really stupid things called where you'd have a story? It's like, give me a noun, give me a verb. Mad Libs. It almost looks like a Mad Libs. It'll be a blank person needed X, and so they contacted Y. Like, so you'll have to fill out correctly to solve the case, like who did what and how it happened and why it happened. But part of that first is like, well, you need to fill out who all the people are. So you need to get everyone's names accurately and figure those things out. Like there was one where it was a dinner table, someone's poisoned. I needed to figure out like who was sitting everywhere. Like that was a very important part of the mystery. Like I don't know who's sitting everywhere, so I need to gather that information so I can figure out what the person that got poisoned ate or drank. I have to figure out who had then access to poison that thing, what their motive was. So I'm looking throughout this entire house. I'm talking to everybody. It's really, really fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's very good on the Steam Deck. I got this like really, it's very cheap. It was like $25, $20, but I got a Bluetooth keyboard that has a built-in touchpad. So it has like a mouse and, left and right click. And I just keep that upstairs. So I got the Steam Deck dock, and I've been playing it on my TV, and it's great because then I can just Bluetooth and I can play PC games right there. I wouldn't do anything like action oriented. I would use a gamepad, but using a gamepad for this, it's not really built for it. You want to be able to like zoom in on stuff, and it's not quite as good. So being able to use the like trackpad to move the on-screen cursor and stuff is definitely better. Playing handheld, you can actually just use the touchscreen for your cursor, which is great. So I can just tap on the stuff and look at it. It's really good. Tuna would fucking love this game. You would absolutely love this game. It is like pixel artwork. So the artwork's not as nice as Pentiment. It's a Pentiment, the artwork is fucking phenomenal. That game looks kind of amazing. That being said, it's really well written. I like the story a lot. I've now become like invested in a couple characters a little bit. I'm kind of like, oh, like I want this family line to, at least from what I know, like I want them to win out in this situation. And it's really good. I think people should play it. It's only on Steam, as far as I'm aware, or Mac or PC. Yeah, it's not on any consoles yet.
Yep.
I believe it's the guy who made the Oberdin game, but I haven't played that, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was it was funny because when you brought it up, because I remember it from GameSpot gave it their top 5 PC last year, and I was like, I've never heard of this game. And when I
came out at the end of the year,
yeah, it was like a tail end thing. And yeah, when I saw it and when I heard of it, I was like, oh, this sounds like, I think it's called Tales of the Oberdin, which is like I think you're on a ship or something, and it's a mystery game as well. And that makes total sense because it sounds like that game that's like you're gonna hear about this for like the next couple of years. But it's surprising, like, yeah, you and this mention on that top 5 is like the only people or places that I've seen it. But it does sound like it kind of addresses what may have made Pentiment a little bit more fun. But yeah, very cool. Tuna, you got to get a Steam Deck.
Working on it.
Yeah, get rid of the baby, get a Steam Deck.
Yeah, get rid of
more fun.
Exactly, more fun, man.
Oh yeah.
So Tom, how annoying would it be for you to kill the overlay for a moment?
We don't have an overlay at the moment.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you streamed with the overlay. So that's
Done
good.
and done.
All right.
I'm updating the new one based on the new artwork, and I just
Got it.
haven't gotten around to finishing it, making
All
it
right,
look
so
nice.
I'm gonna share something here.
Okay.
Take a look at our screens here. All right, so oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on, I wanted to share the Photoshop.
Take a look.
What are you seeing right now? You see just the
It's
Photoshop?
I
review
see
rainbow.
the Photoshop.
Okay, I
file.
wasn't sure if you see the whole desktop because the way like
No,
you know
no.
the all right. I got my gaming notes up and my messages. I'm like, well, that's not. All right, so here I found the review rainbow. How many games do you think I put on this last year?
One.
Before I stopped?
Four.
17.
All right, so we have 1, 4, and 17. Over under doesn't matter. Like we're not price is writing it here. I'm just going with whoever's closest. 5 games.
I was
So I did
closest.
5 games last year,
That's not
and
closest.
if I remember correctly,
Wow, look at Assassin's Creed all the way over there. Holy smokes.
the
I think my-
vertical scenario is issues with the game, technical issues, things that like
You don't
shouldn't have
even
been this
remember.
way. No, that's definitely what it was because you're down here, you're in like garbage city. You're like, this game's broken, it's unplayable. Because the thing that I'm saying is with
How could you ever be in the bottom right?
maybe it's
This
like
this game was
you know what
amazing.
you know what
but
game
technically
you know what game I
terrible.
would put like down here. I
Go
would
ahead.
put Pokemon. I would put the most recent Pokemon like right here.
Yeah,
it is
that's
a
a good
broken
point.
fucking game
Yeah,
that has
it
a
goes
lot of
right in
technical
that
issues,
Slot it right in that right
but
corner.
it's so fucking good. It's
But
such a
what
good
about
game.
the
The
far-
game is great,
far corner there,
but it's
like,
broken. What this?
Like if you were hit like the all the way in the bottom right corner.
I mean, it would just be even more broken. You know,
But
It's-
how
it's
could it possibly be
unlikely.
great and that broken?
I mean, Pokemon's a pretty broken game. It's really good.
I mean, like for example, like I would put Forspoken in this on this thing, like in the red, like right as the red, I would say is transitioning into the orange, but pretty high, on
Okay.
like 2/3 of the way, like probably on the same level as like
Some more of a pastel
honestly,
color.
like Kato Cyber Shadow, because I had very few technical issues. Like the game
Mhm.
ran well and like didn't have any bugs, so like I would put it on that.
Valhalla
weird
had bugs and stuff
placement.
at the beginning that all got resolved. So I probably would move this up a bit. I would probably move it up because it is a kind of a technical feast in some ways. But at the time, there were like
Oh, it
save
looks
errors
so
and
good.
crashes and shit.
It's
which
fun to me
that
that
game
medium
was
is right in the middle of your scale.
that it
Yeah. Medium is like almost smack dab right there.
didn't really have any major technical issues, but there were some problems with it.
And
There
the
were a lot of
story
like
is
frame
like
dips and
so
stuff.
wishy-washy
Yeah.
for sure.
So I mean, part of the thing
Slater-
with this is
Mhm.
What's later?
I was going to say he wants to know where Vampire Survivors is going.
Oh, so I'll add Vampire Survivors to this because I was still playing that this year. So I've updated it with this year's games. I'll have to add Vampire Survivors.
Can bring that up, Chris, real quick. Okay, but yeah, okay. So these are the games that Chris did have for audio listeners.
So last year I'd done Destruction All Stars,
Yeah.
which is it
It's
was
like
at the
middle-
time pretty
yeah.
broken.
You have to name all these colors so you can give people like a verbal.
I mean,
explanation
I
of
could
where they are.
probably I could just select the hue here and pop it onto Google and it would give
Yeah,
me the
I'm
color
saying that's
name.
fine too. But like,
I'll
as
give
long as you
give
know.
out a hex code. So this game, this game is a
So
let's-
16630. Am I right?
we'll give it the old eyedropper test, and then
Yeah.
we can get some kind of. So this is an FFC 40F.
Right.
That's what Destruction All Stars is.
Okay. Yep. FFC
Whereas-
40F.
The medium, you're getting, I'll give it some grace here. I'll go to the right side of it when I grab the color instead of the left. That's an 88 FF54, clearly. I've also done. I did Cardo last year. I did Cyber Shadow. I did Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So
Those are all pretty close. What's the color? You pick like the middle of those colors there between the three. Yep, that looks good. These are all roughly a 7FD 2F0.
there you go. Which is, in my opinion, pretty
In
good.
layman's
Pretty
terms, at
good.
least.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. It's
Pretty
my
good.
favorite. It's my favorite. Of
Now, I've
that. That's
updated
what
it.
you want to be.
with games from this year.
Okay.
So
cool.
let's take a look. So this is the
Wow.
2023. 2023. No major technical issues yet in the 4 games that I've put up here. One Piece Odyssey. So some things,
Did you get further in?
Wait,
Odyssey?
what about the other One Piece game you played?
Oh yeah, where's World Seeker going?
I played so little that I don't want to list it. I don't. I also like. I played High Fly Rush today. For a little over an hour, and it's really fucking cool. But I just don't. I don't want to put it on here unless I played enough. Because
Would
I
you
would just
call
be
yourself the LeVar Burton of the review rainbow?
guessing. I would like to.
Yeah,
Mm.
we
I
can
would
do
like
that.
to. So One Piece Odyssey doesn't have any major technical issues, but I do think that there's some design decisions on a technical level that were mistakes. For instance, just like the running speed, like roaming around. Like you need to be able to move faster in this game. It's like one of the things that like really slows the game down. And also there are no difficulty settings, which is actually a problem for this game because the game is so fucking easy that like the story is carrying the game. The game needs to be more difficult. I think I've had like one boss battle that like I was like, oh, there was a challenge that was fun, and everything else I feel like I've kind of just like walked right through. A lot of the fights are super easy in that game. So that's really where it lost its points is like around difficulty and just like the actual like navigating the game.
Did it
PiKUNiKU,
lose points or did it lose?
It's pretty
pixels?
high on the.
but because neither of those are like major
What would you call
technical
it?
issues, you know. Like the difficulty problem is where it lost a lot of this. You know, it's like it's still a good
My
game.
question is,
If it had better
what-
difficulty, more challenging, it'd be more like up here. It'd be much higher.
What does it
Closer to
technically
the-
lose? Like, what is? And it's not points, but like, what is the difference between a blue and a purple? Like, did it lose red?
So starting over on the red, right? Because red
Yeah.
to violet. Red is it's how much I like it. It's how much I enjoy.
I know,
the
no, I
game.
understand that. I'm trying to quantify it into something you can tell someone, like this. Like instead of saying it lost points, like did it lose
Hue?
hue?
Yeah, it lost hue. Yeah, it's got a lower. Its hue is warmer than it would be. It could be a cooler hue.
Okay,
If it's
there
over
you go.
here, you know, and it's warmer hue if it's over there. But
Okay, I
this
like
game
that.
could have been in the blues, but it's actually more in the the greens, the teals, the turquoises than it is in the blues. Not the turquoise, the greens and the
It
teals.
didn't cool down enough.
Yeah. Yes. It didn't cool enough. It's not definitely doesn't
Coming out
have
the
any
oven.
violet in it. Case of the Golden Idol, Pentiment. I think
Wow.
Case of the Golden Idol has, because I don't have to deal with the like technical issue of there being no kind of fast travel and you move around so slow in that game. That's where I'm kind of pulling away like major points on that game. However, the highs of Pentiment I haven't been reached yet in Case of the Golden Idol, but it's a really good game. I really enjoy playing it. And because each case, I mean, the longest I think I spent on a case was like 25 minutes because I got like stuck at one point. I could not figure it out. Like I was just like super overthinking certain details and I got like absolutely stuck on a case. But I haven't had my mind blown yet like I did. I had some like super high moments in Pentiment. I think like this area here is very going to be like, that's a very difficult, like best bet this year that's coming for this area is going to be Zelda. I feel like that's reserved for elite tier, but Pentiment's almost there. It's got some violet in it. It's got some purple, It's not quite
Does it?
ultraviolet though. So
A
there you go.
light purple?
It's back. I will add Vampire Survivors.
All right.
It's gonna be in this area. It's gonna be in this area as well.
It's good. It's good
I
area.
might put it slightly ahead of Pentiment. I think I may have liked Vampire Survivors a little bit more than Pentiment.
Sure.
What would you
Sure.
say?
Yeah.
Tuna?
Probably same.
Yeah. So there we
we
are.
all need our own.
Our
I'm
own
not making
rainbows.
this.
Everyone's gonna get a rainbow.
I'm
not
not
making-
making.
I'm not making this. No way. I'll do my 1 to 10 scale, which is
and-
really a 1 to 5 scale.
and if you're a
Chris,
listener and
but-
you're annoyed, just blame Slater.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of, and obviously, if you want to pull up those hex keys and you're an audio listener, you can. But you can also just watch the video version of this podcast, youtube.com/unranked, free for everyone. It's only the live show that is behind a
And the
paywall
post-show.
and the post show that Slater has access to, and he is asking you with his hard-earned money, Chris, that he wants to see GoldenEye with and without online multiplayer scored separately.
Okay, so I'll do the Xbox and the Switch.
He wants to
GoldenEyes.
switch.
I'll put both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Something tells me what we're gonna see there, and this is just my guess. What we're gonna see there is one of them is gonna have slightly better enjoyment, like on an enjoyment level, and one is gonna have better technical. Like we're gonna see one that's closer to the white and one that's closer to the violet. Like that's
Yeah.
that's gonna be that split. But I could be wrong. They could both be broken. Who knows? Man, if these games come out tomorrow after 25 years, after someone made like a documentary about these fucking games, if this game comes out tomorrow and it's broken on either one of these consoles, if it like
it's out
doesn't
already,
work
I
or-
think, on Xbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Rock.
it came out.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
play that tonight then. That would
If
be
it's not as
Well,
broken,
let's
as
all
the
jump on
original one,
Xbox
I'll
and play
be mad.
together.
Oh wait.
It's so ridiculous, bro.
Tuna, I'll come over to your house this weekend.
Oh yeah, sure.
We'll play.
I bought
couch-
I'll come over
couch-
too. Unannounced.
co-op.
you can
couch
get
co-op.
like N64
Just ring the
controllers
doorbell,
with
man.
like a USB adapter on Amazon. So I bought two so that I can play it. Murphy's gonna come over next week. We're gonna play some Goldeneye. So I'm gonna do a little local on the Switch. But
I'll
also
set
do
it up
some
for Brooks'
online
birthday
on the
if you guys are
Switch.
coming. Do it that way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll play with you guys online on Switch. We'll see how it goes.
Um,
Look, I've tried to play this fucking game in the modern era, and we'll see how much Goldeneye we get in.
Or
'cause
it's time.
it's definitely a game of its time, and maybe not even then.
I want to touch on this, but there really isn't a good amount of time for it. But Alex and I started watching a show called The Traitors, and now Dan has started it. Alex and I,
Oh, yeah.
I started the
finished-
American one.
so Alex and I finished the American one,
Mhm.
and I'm about to get him to start the UK one.
Mhm.
I'm curious because Dan, you
I
had
think
some
we should
thoughts
wait
on
until
this.
Dan
We should-
watches the whole thing.
We should wait, yeah, and then we can just
Well,
talk
and
about
then
it,
we'll
the whole
I-
thing.
talk.
Yeah.
We were quickly talking about it beforehand. I did notice that it was going to be a problem at the start of the show that they have a mixture of reality stars and
Right.
it's
regular people.
mostly reality
It's-
stars.
and it's
And
like it's like 15-5 reality stars.
It's I
And
don't know what
that's-
it's like as if five.
That's just
reality
like
stars
trying to
they
get the people to
wanted.
watch it.
That's what I'm
Or
hoping.
it's like no one's gonna watch it. It's just regular people. That was their
Yeah.
idea.
But I guess, but like I feel it almost seems like 5 reality stars canceled, and they just picked 5 rando people who applied to some
Randos.
other reality
Honestly,
shows
that-
in their
that
docket,
could be the case.
and they were like, "Bring them on, let's go. We need to start this. Let's go.
That
Bring
could
them out
be the
here."
I have a
case.
problem with how the show markets itself compared to what it is, because it markets itself as a murder mystery, but it's not really a murder mystery.
It's like Mafia.
Yeah, I mean,
For
it
the
is a murder
viewer.
mystery for
For the
all of the
viewer.
players that aren't.
Yeah, but that kind of ruins the fun as the viewer.
You know,
of a
I will
murder
say,
mystery.
I will say, there's a lot of there's editing involved in this that, like, if you're a player and you were watching it, you would be like, "Oh, drama." But
Sure.
when you're a viewer who knows who the traitors are, it doesn't land.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't at all.
What
Man.
doesn't?
Like half
the
the fun would be me
editing.
trying to figure out who is who.
Well, what
But
do you mean by
instead,
the
I know
editing?
who is who.
Like the
No,
editing,
no, no,
and they're
you guys
like,
are talking about different things here. I feel
No,
like
I think we're talking about the same thing. It's
All
like
right,
when
but then I
someone
don't
gets up in the
understand what you're saying.
circle and says that they're a traitor or they're
Yeah.
not,
yeah.
and
We
the
know
editing
already.
is like,
Yeah,
cuts
they're like
to
dun dun
someone,
dun.
dun,
What are
dun,
they gonna
dun.
be? And it's like,
Oh
I
my
already know
god,
as the
yeah,
viewer.
this is like,
But
oh
it's
my god,
not
and then they go
about
to
you
commercial.
knowing. It's about
No,
you.
but they.
But it's
they,
a show.
The way they
It's a
do that part
produced
of the
show. What's the point
and
of
they-
doing it that
yeah,
way?
and they go like, I am.
And like the suspense.
You don't need
like,
that
you
part. If
already
you were
know
at
who
home,
he
you
is.
can cut that shit out.
You don't need it. We're not the ones. I mean, that's not
Sure.
happening. But that editing and that delay isn't happening for the people playing the game. It is
No.
for our benefit, and for our benefit, it doesn't make sense. We know who the traitors
Yeah.
are.
Well,
We know that this
that'd be
person
like doing
is
there's a
that
a
couple
show.
traitor.
things. Keep in
That'd be
mind,
like doing
a
the
lot
Masked
of these
Singer where we
there's
find out
commercial
who the
breaks
singer is
happening right there.
beforehand, and then like the whole show is just seeing if they get it right.
I have
Yeah,
no
it's-
idea what you guys are talking
So,
about
a
right
lot
now.
of these
So
things,
what's the
Alex,
traitors?
there's commercial breaks happening there. And a lot of these
It's
things
not just-
also it's just to build tension because you're waiting for the reveal. So it's just it's
But I'm
dumb.
not. Like that's
It's
the thing.
not a
Like,
reveal,
but I'm
though.
not. Like my point
I'm
is
definitely waiting for the reveal, not because
It's
I
like
know
revealing
the
to me
answer,
what I
but
ate
because
for lunch already.
No, it's not. See, I think the problem here is you guys are watching this show and you wish it was the mole because you want to be able to play the game and guess who it is. But that's not the point of this. The point, you're supposed to be following the traitors. The point of this game is to follow the traitors from their perspective. The people you generally, I think, are supposed to be rooting for in this game are the traitors. So you kind of have to know who they are. And then what you're supposed to be anticipating in that moment is the reaction from everybody who isn't a traitor, as well as the traitors, to see if are they going to fuck up their reaction. What
But
are
they
gonna
don't
do
really
here in
cut
this
to the
moment?
reaction. They cut to the person who's talking almost the whole time.
I mean,
The person who
this is
does the
This is where the
reveal-
US one gets it a lot.
The person who
worse.
reveals that they're focusing on him the whole time. But it's a produced show. If
Yes.
you're going to say that these are traitors or whatever, you're going to use that term,
Traitor.
then I feel like it either needs to be that or
Well, it is that. How is it not that?
because you're not really you're not doing any that. Well, okay, that's
Well,
a
they
whole
are because
that's
they're
a whole
trying to steal
nother
the money
show.
at the end.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole point is they're taking the money. Again, you
Yeah, the
want this
idea
to
is
be a
if they
game show
survive long
where
enough,
you
they
are
steal the money at
guessing
the end.
because you
No,
want to
but
play
that- but
along.
that
But that's
tension
not
at
what
the
the point
end-
is.
Yeah, but that tension at the end is the same kind of but the thing is, you know the answer when they're doing
Again,
the tension.
because you're focusing on the
No,
information.
but any reality show that does the tension shit, like Survivor, Big Brother, anything like that, you don't know the outcome. You don't know how everyone voted. They're keeping that from you. When Jeff is doing the
I
reading of the
understand
votes,
that, but that's not what the point of it is in this. The point of it is to build tension because you, like myself, a lot of people are anticipating to see the reaction of the other players. You don't care about that, so it doesn't land for you.
it doesn't like. I think it doesn't land. I think that
Well,
that
the American
building of
one
the
in
tension
general, I think,
does
doesn't
not
land compared
land.
to the UK one because of primarily the celebrities. But also the American one, I think the host is fucking terrible. I think the host is very bad in the American one.
You
It's
don't like
also
Alan
very
Cumming?
overproduced with like the lighting and the music. There's so much. They're trying to make it look like they're in Clue, the movie, and it takes you
Is-
out of it. It looks a lot more fake.
Is Alan Cumming a celebrity in the UK still?
I have no
Because it's been a long time since anyone's heard of him in the US, and all of a sudden he's hosting this reality show and acting like he's royalty, and it's weird.
He's being so theatrical in it.
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
It is, but that's part of the reason he's not anywhere anymore in TV here, at least.
Yeah,
Like he
Yeah.
just isn't very good at that stuff.
yeah. So,
But
so
he is
Alex,
Scottish.
You don't care
That's
when
it.
they reveal about what other people are reacting.
No,
to.
of course I do. Of course I do. But the way that it's edited and the way that they build this tension makes it
Yeah,
seem
it's
like
over the top.
they're making it seem like, oh my god, is this? I'm like, have I been?
It's just-
duped
it's just
this
the
whole
small-
time?
It's just
Have
that
I been
small
duped?
part, but I agree with
Have
that
I
small
been
part
duped?
where it makes no sense. Where like they could edit it down for the viewer at home, or show the audience and not the person saying it, because we know
And
the
okay,
answer.
and
already.
the other thing I still think
The audience being the
I
people in the
still
room.
think this. I feel like the challenges, I don't care about the challenges.
I think
like,
no, but you need something to make it a show.
you need something to make it a show. It's just the conduit to get to the conversations in the house and the roundtable discussions. But the challenges, like I could give a shit about what the challenge is. It doesn't.
That's most
There's
reality
nothing
shows.
in the chat. No one's playing for immunity. No one's playing. The guests
Well,
are playing
that's
for
not
money.
true.
Toward
They're
the
absolutely
end,
playing for
sort of,
immunity.
but you're not. You're playing for a chance. It's not like you're randomized if you're going to get it or not. It's not like someone is actually doing like the best player who did in that challenge is definitely going to win immunity, and then you're
Right.
kind of suspect of them doing that. It's a randomized immunity, so you're kind of like, well, he randomly got it, so fuck it. But
Well,
if when they're split into teams,
sort of.
too,
That's a little
the money is-
disingenuous.
but the who cares about the team games? The money's still going into the pot. It doesn't matter what the team game is. It
Well,
really.
so
it
you're
really
missing
doesn't.
again. You got to watch the UK version because the problem with the US version is all of these people come in because they're already stars and they all know each other and they all have big egos and so they're not interacting with each other. In the UK one, you get all of these people who don't
Mhm.
know each other. You're introduced to them way better. They're much more friendly. They care about their relationships with one another. And that causes all of the things like all of the murders, all of the banishments, all of the betrayals to be so much more intense. I mean, people are having straight up panic attacks and breakdowns in the UK one. Like people are going to walk away from that game with fucking PTSD.
I get what you're saying. I just still feel
Well,
like
I didn't
in
get
this-
to my point yet because you're cutting me off. So
All
when
right.
you have the games right after people are fucking at each other's throats, and now you're
Yeah.
forcing people to work together who like hate each other, that were just screaming at each other, and now they're jumping up and down and they're
Yeah.
talking to each other and being friendly. What the games does is it fucks with people and what they think is actually happening in the game, because now they have to work together with the person that they think was betraying them. And multiple times during the show, because of actions that take place in the games, because they're like, well, he worked really hard in that, people completely get thrown off. And there were several times where people were like accurately picking who the person was. And then because that person did well in the game and was such a good team player, they were like, but they're so nice. Like there's no way they could do it. And
Which
so
is
that's what the
ridiculous and
purpose of the
stupid
games is. It
because-
forces them to interact in a way where they're
But
not.
there's no
thinking
incentive
about
for
who
anyone
is
to
doing
fucking
what.
No,
up
yeah,
challenge.
it's a false
It's
line
to
of thinking.
throw you off. It's to throw
Yeah.
them off,
Just-
because otherwise, if they're just talking about it and thinking about it, they're going to be able to figure it out easier. You have to make them interact in a different way, so that's what the purpose of it is.
I mean, I get it for them. I think as a viewer, I just think the challenges are
You want
like-
it to be the mole. Is the
it's
thing.
not just that I want it to be the mole, but every reality show that has challenges has a point to the challenge. You're either playing for immunity, you're playing for safety, you're playing for power.
Well,
None
they're
of
playing
this
for money.
happens.
They're playing to add money to
but
the pool.
everyone's playing for the same pot. It's not like there's a team. There's one team over here playing for their pot.
Right.
there's
So
one
then
team
when
over
you're
here
the
paying for
trader,
their
right,
pot.
and you're choosing who to eliminate, at a certain point, you can't just eliminate like certain people because you're going to say, well, if we get rid of this person, we have much less likelihood of winning more money, and I want us to win more money.
That doesn't. Okay, if that happens in the UK version, that's great. It does not happen in the US
Again,
version. In the US version, none of that
Spoilers.
happens. They
Spoilers.
they make money hand over fist. It makes no
well,
difference.
it's also the UK version's only up to 120,000, whereas the US version's 250,000. So the money and the games they play, like anytime someone fucks up, because they're already playing for half as much money,
But it's
it's much more
120,000
valuable.
euros, right?
Pounds. So
Pounds.
it's pretty
Oh,
close
okay.
1-to-1.
Okay.
pretty
never mind.
close.
Also, the
pound, I
euro
think,
is not
still
worth that
stronger.
much either.
But
I
it's
think
a
the
little
euro's
more.
worth less than the
The
dollar.
dollar, euro, and pound are all in the toilet.
Yeah, I'm
They're
pretty
all,
sure they
like,
are
around the
very, very
same.
close to one another. So, I mean,
I
Tuna,
still
I
don't.
set you
I
up.
still, I'm
You
not,
gotta
still
watch
not rooting
UK one.
anybody. I still not rooting it for. I mean, yeah, I'm rooting for some of the traders, and yeah, I'm still rooting for some of the faithfuls. But at the same, when the
$1
challenges are
equals
going
0.92
on,
euros.
when the challenges are going on, I'm like, yeah, it's just a conduit.
I
Just
agree.
get me to
It's
the round
not.
table.
It's the weakest part of the
Just
show.
get me
is
to the round
games.
table discussion.
It is definitely the weakest
It is
part
weak.
of the show.
It's weak, and I feel like
Yes.
there's areas for improvement
Yes.
on this show that you
I
could
agree.
make
One could
it
argue
so
it's-
that it would.
I agree,
One
but
could argue it's
you
better
were
for
saying
today's
that it's
audiences
pointless
because
and it
it's
doesn't
a
make any
whole half
sense.
hour you
and
can
there's
zone
no
out
point.
for.
Because of what? It's a zone
It's a
out.
whole
What?
It's a whole half hour you can zone out for. It's made for today's audiences that have no attention span, like you complain about all the time.
Yeah, it'd be great. Like Brittany'd be like, "Hey,
I do.
your TikTok time starts now," and then you
Right.
can say TikTok time ends. Tom, news me.
Real quick before we get into the news, that we Slater in the chat asked, "Is everyone watching The Last of Us?"
Oh, it's so
Yes.
good.
And they both are, and they agree that it's amazing, and I think we all agree that it's very good. And I think the changes. I actually wrote an article at GameSpot, my first editorial byline with them. I think while I think the story for the most part is an improvement so far, I think the gameplay of the show, with the spoilers for episode 2 of The Last of Us, slight spoilers on like how the zombies work differently. In the second episode, you learn that the mycelium of the fungus spreads.
Midichlorians.
The midichlorians is over 1 million. The mycelium is spreading through the under the ground and can connect the bodies of the infected across vast distances, and even just like plant life and things like that. So one wrong move could alert a horde that's a mile away, and you
It's
wouldn't
like
even
tree
know.
roots.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept, and that is not in the game, and it would be so awesome if it was, because like how much fun would that be if like part of the thing is like trying to maneuver around and like trying to figure out like how to get around certain things. Maybe you're spending resources to like clear out an area so that you can safely go through. Like none of that is in the game, and so all
Well,
people
if they make a third game, I don't think it'd be too hard to accomplish, especially
Well,
narratively.
in the article I write, like
Yeah, you wrote, and I don't think it'd be too hard to accomplish, at least narratively. That's what you wrote.
Oh, is it really what I? Oh, okay, good. It's a good line. Good line. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because you could have it evolve, right? You could have the fungus in the game evolve, and maybe in the third game or the multiplayer game that they're doing, they could have that factor. But yeah, no, loving Last of Us.
It's really good. It's really good. It makes me want to play the game, but I'm probably just gonna play the second game after I watch the season.
Probably smart.
So spoilers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
You
what?
saw the whole season.
Like,
What
what are the
was
spoilers
spoiler with I forget her name.
for the TV show, for the movie, like for
TV
for the
show,
game?
TV
Okay.
show,
Tess?
TV show. No, not
Yeah.
well. I was okay. Fine. I was
Anna
going to say the
Torv.
actress Anna. Okay.
Anna Torv, yeah.
So at the end there, the way that she connects with a certain thing.
yeah.
What the hell was that?
All right, so here's my read on it.
I mean,
'cause
why'd
also thought it was
why'd
weird.
they add that in there? What is that?
Here's my
I
read.
that for?
literally did this. This is how I watched that scene. I was waiting for it to be over because I don't need to see that before I go to bed.
But what was the point of that? To
My
show to
read-
get a little kink out?
No, I think it was because obviously it was horrifying for her, right? I think it
Yeah.
was because like she was
One
showing
could argue
her
it's more horrifying
willingness
for me.
to like do anything to like she knew she had because she wasn't fighting it, right, and it was going slow, she still had time to try to light the lighter, and so she was willing to like let that happen so that she could make sure.
Yeah, but
lighter
from
went
a writer's room perspective,
they thought it would
Someone-
be unbelievably creepy. That's
someone
my guess.
someone pointed out online, and it's been pointed out many times. They're like, "Why didn't you just grab one of the grenades that you
That's
spilled all over the
that's
floor?"
yes, that's exact. I was like, she should just be
You
holding
can't just start a
grenade.
fire
Yeah.
with grenades.
That was exactly what I was thinking as well with that bullshit. But-
Yeah, and you know, even as in the chat says they were connected into the hive. Yeah, they are spreading the fungus, and
I get it.
The
No,
show,
I get it.
Yeah.
But did it? But
why
it seemed a
did
little.
it happen like that? They basically the showrunners said that. I mean, the primary thing is like it's creepy as fuck. Like that is the reason it is in. I think that you can read it problematically. I think I didn't necessarily. I think it kind of it distracted from the moment. It
I think
distracted
it
me
did
to
too.
death.
I think
But
it distracted from the moment too.
does
I
it
honestly
open
thought
up-
the same thing. I was like,
Does it
what is
open up
what
the
the fuck?
possibilities of tentacles later on coming into the show for other similar purposes?
It opens up the possibilities for that. Yeah.
I mean, all I can think of was the whole like that Avatar thing. Like in a couple of years, they'll say, "Oh yeah, they have sex by via the mouth."
Tail whip.
Yeah.
But they said that the showrunners said that they wanted to portray how like the fungus is only like these infected are only violent when we are fighting them off, right? Like that's when they employ violence and like scratch and claw and bite.
Right.
But if there is if the person is not giving up a fight, like that, they're just like simply passing across. So that was also their like little way that they wrote it off.
Sure.
It's a very small moment.
It's
in
a small
great
moment, but it
episode.
did take away from the whole thing for me.
Do we know? Is this first season supposed to be the whole first game, or is the
It
first
is
game
the
yet?
whole first
Oh
game.
wow. Okay,
Mhm.
so the show's gonna
What?
be like 2 shows, basically.
Huh?
The show's gonna be 2 seasons, maybe 3 if there's a third game, or
I think they should keep going.
you think
Screw it.
Game 2 would probably be 2 seasons. I don't know how they would do, and there's a pretty like good like
is there a time
interesting
skip
breaking
between
point.
1 and 2?
Yeah, there's 4 years between 1 and
Well,
2.
you could fill that out too.
The
You
funny thing is
Just
that
House
did.
of Dragon it.
the
You
funny
just
thing
all of a
is
sudden everyone's older. Next.
Bella Ramsey is the age that the actor that plays Ellie is the age that Ellie is in the second game.
Oh, okay.
She is 19 now, whereas she's playing a 14-year-old. So
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily need to wait. They can just say it's only been like 2 or 3 years if they really need to.
Sure.
Second game, I think Tuna might agree. I'd split over 2 seasons. But yeah, this one is all of the first season. And so far, chapter-wise, it's lined up pretty closely with the chapters in the game. Like where an episode ends is like where a chapter is ended. So, yeah. Okay, but yeah, some news. Let's whip through this bad boy.
Okay.
Do we have music, or are we still lacking on news music?
Oh. No, we have it. It was playing. I already played it earlier too, but I didn't reshare my screen after the rainbow.
The review rainbow.
Hi-Fi Rush is out. It's a new game. It's cool. Goldeneye is out. Go play it. Tom, what else do we have?
Yeah, so Hi-Fi Rush was a part of the developer direct that Xbox put out, showcasing 4 games, and then Hi-Fi Rush being the surprise 5th one that is out. Their slate through the next couple of months looks like this. Minecraft Legends is coming out in April. This is an RPG game, and they showed off a lot of their PvP mode where you can team up and build a base and have tower
this isn't
defense.
Minecraft Dungeons. This is a different.
No,
game.
this is not a dungeon crawler.
Okay.
This is an RPG
Sure.
game.
Okay.
Honestly, looks like a lot of fun. If you haven't seen the gameplay, I think we'd actually have a lot of fun.
I'll play it now that I know it's a different thing.
Yeah, so it was like you're building a base and people can come and attack, and you can set up like defense towers and things like that. Looks really good, and it's coming out April 18th. And this one is coming across platform, right? So it's coming to Switch, it's coming to PlayStation, all this stuff. Forza Motorsport showed off the game. It looks amazing. Important
What's it about?
factor. It's about this young girl, and she becomes it's their racing game. It will do 4K at 60 frames with ray tracing.
Cool.
So that's
But if
pretty
you turn
incredible.
off ray tracing, you'll get 120 probably.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you'll get the 120 frames mode. They were showing like how like dust accumulation and all that shit, all
Nice.
the technical whiz bang, like looking good. Interesting one with this. Developer Turn 10 last year said that this game would be out spring of this year, and this was the one game that didn't get a release date at all. In fact, it just got a 2023. Didn't even say spring 2023. So seems like this one, they are kind of hedging their bets on maybe getting pushed into the second half of the year. But we'll have to wait and see. Redfall, more gameplay. This fucking vampire game. Well, it's from Arcane, right? We like Deathloop. We like all of Arcane stuff. We'll see how this shakes out. Nothing here, I think, to me, kind of changed my tune on it. I'm kind of like pretty neutral. Do any of you have any excitement for this game, Redfall?
No.
I'll see when it comes out.
I like the
Tom,
color
I'll be
red
honest with you.
sometimes, and I like
likes the
fall
color.
as a season.
Mhm.
I think I'm not getting excited or pumped for any game anymore. Like I'm
That's because
keeping
you sit in your house and do nothing anymore, and you're probably clinically depressed.
no. So I also feel like I'm trying to keep my excitement for Zelda low and my expectations low,
Mm.
just
Like
because
your testosterone.
yeah. And there it is.
Well, May 2nd is going to be just a regular day for Tuna because that is when Redfall is coming out.
I
It
feel
would've
like
been just
Tuna, your
regular day
hype
anyway,
factor,
probably.
your hype factor, your hype resilience has grown by the year. I feel this is not a new thing you've said. Over the years, you'll be like, I'm not getting excited for a game anymore because it's gonna come out and I'm gonna be disappointed by it.
Yeah, so I just let it go. I let it all go. Comes out, God of War
part of the
came
problem
out,
is
you know,
most
came
of these
out.
games that you get excited for come out and they're not like you need to wait like 6 months before you're actually excited for it again.
Yeah, before it works, before the game
Yeah.
is not broken, before it does the thing you want it to do.
God of War
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, well,
So
that's
once
a
it
good
comes
game.
out, I'll start to think about getting excited for a game.
There you go.
Zelda should work day one. I really hope. God, could you?
I
imagine?
really hope.
Could you imagine? They got nothing else coming. All right. I'm just gonna do this really fast. 805-738-8692. Email at unrankedpodcast.com. You can send us emails or go to the show notes. Click on the Discord link. Go to questions for the pod. Drop us a question. I did just get a voicemail, so here it goes.
Yeah, you guys told me to call about the Gameclub game. I did not play it.
I didn't. That's true.
All right. Great. Call in if you have played one of our Game Club games. You have thoughts, comments, questions. Let us know. I want to hear them. Dan, you built a game for today. Tell us about
I
it.
did. This is called you get the picture. And I'm going to describe to you the cover art of a game, and you got to tell me what the game is.
Okay.
That's it. Very simple.
Yay.
There's no
Great.
crazy point
Do we
systems.
just yell out our answers? You want us to text you?
You text me. You text me the answer.
How
and
many
then
of
we'll
these
go
you
through them. I got 5.
All right. Let's
I think that should be enough.
start the game.
You got to wait for news again. That's the best part.
Always gotta wait for
Alright.
this guy.
Anyway, first game on the list. We got. Do you want to know the system it's on, or should I not tell you and then use it as a clue?
Let's see how the first one
Yeah,
goes
sure.
without the system, and then if it's really fucking hard, then we'll do system.
It's probably gonna be okay. We got man in blue and yellow garb holds gun in front of pastel-colored cities with explosions and palm trees in background.
Oh, I know what this is.
Dan, can we
I
get
think
that
I know
again?
exactly what this is.
Man in blue and yellow garb holds gun in front of pastel-colored cities with explosions and palm trees in background.
Maybe I'm wrong, actually.
Oh. Blue and yellow garb.
I mean, actually,
I think I'm wrong.
But I think I'm wrong also, but I'm just going.
I
with it.
can honestly say, you know what? Just go through your answers. Let's go with Chris first.
Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, great choice.
Okay, so Tom
I put Fortnite.
and Nikki Tids.
I put GTA Vice City.
Oh,
All three of those not the correct answer.
Ah,
This came out for the NES.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna need the console.
we're gonna need it.
We're gonna need
Yeah,
the
we're gonna need the
console.
console.
We're gonna need the
definitely gonna need the
console.
console. We are
Fucking
definitely gonna need the
son of a
console.
bitch.
This was
Okay.
Mega Man.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
God.
god.
This is one of the worst cover art games all time.
That's what Mega
It looks
Man's known
awful.
for.
What the
Oh
fuck?
my
known
god.
This is
for
the
these.
original Mega Man cover art.
All
Yeah,
the old
we're
Mega
gonna-
Mans,
Way,
they
it looked
did
like
this.
that.
Yeah,
It meant
like
to
that.
look like that.
yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know if they meant for it to eventually.
No,
look
it's-
that, but that's what it looked like.
They would get them painted. It was a whole weird. When they came out with, it was like Mega Man 8 or 9. When they like did a new one on the 360,
Yeah.
they did like that fucking weird old style cover art for it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, everyone knows Mega Man from like the comics version,
Oh,
where in the
shit.
cartoon when it looks like how you imagine Mega Man to be, but that's just a dude in a suit.
I just want to say, based on not knowing the console, I feel like all of us had good
Wait,
guesses.
dude,
Those are
this
good
is
guesses.
a Berenstein Bear situation. Holy shit. And Mega Man 2, the cover is a
Yeah.
human guy
Yeah.
as well. Oh, wow.
That's the
I
beauty of
sounded
this
like
game.
I sounded like Marvin. Oh, Raven.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
What the fuck? Mega Man 3 is even worse. What is happening?
Yeah,
It's
a
fucked up.
thing.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
is,
next
though.
one. Next one.
All right. Next one. Man and girl looking back as they walk through grassy street.
Oh, I know this. You don't even need to tell me the console. But if
I
me
can
the
tell you the
console,
console anyway.
please.
PS3.
Can you say it again?
Yeah. Yeah, say it again.
Sure, I can read that again. Man and girl looking back as they walk through grassy street.
Oh, I do know this. I think. Wait, I don't know this.
All right, let's start with Alex this time. What was your answer?
Last of Us?
Tom, what was your answer?
yeah, it's Last of Us.
Chris, what was your
I
answer?
wrote The Last of Us.
It is The Last of Us.
Oh, really?
I'm pulling up the image right now, which is actually harder to do than I thought it would be. But yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. It's The Last of Us.
Very nice.
It's a very simple cover, and I figured it would fit in well with conversation. So that was one of two what I consider easy ones this week.
Oh,
all right.
God.
Actually, here, I'll let you choose. I think there's one easy, one medium, and one hard one. Which one do you guys want
Let's
next?
do the hardest
Hard.
one first. Yeah.
Hard.
Hard one?
Yeah, let's get
Yep.
it out of the way.
Okay. This was on the Sega Genesis. I'm starting with that. Effeminate man's face next to a rainbow stripe in outer space, as man with hat points to the stars in foreground with spaceship under his lifted arm.
Do we know this game?
Console,
I
please.
don't know. Still Sega Genesis.
Doesn't know if we know this game.
You don't know if we know this game?
I don't
Say it
think I
again.
know this game.
Do we know the franchise that this game?
You have definitely heard of this franchise.
Jesus
In general, have
Christ.
heard of this franchise.
In general.
Effeminate man's face next to a rainbow stripe this is in outer space as a man with a hat points to the stars in the foreground. He has a spaceship located under his lifted arm.
Genesis.
I got one answer in here.
I just wrote it wrong answer, but whatever. I have no idea.
I don't expect anyone to consider this is more for me to show everyone this fucking thing.
What are
Okay.
we waiting on, Tom?
Yeah, I sent mine. Fucking.
Hold on. Okay. Tom, I want yours first. I'm not sure that even exists.
Star Wars Sega Edition.
The Star Wars Sega edition.
That's incorrect. Chris.
I wrote Galaga.
Oh, it could be.
And
It's not.
Tuna.
Tiny Toon Adventures.
No, I think
Good
Chris
game,
might have
though.
been closest. It is it is this game, which I will just show you instead of
It is
telling you.
this game.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Fuck. I've seen that. Oh fuck.
Yeah, the cover. The cover.
I'd say you
is
have
like,
heard of this franchise in general.
Sure.
I wasn't
Yeah.
picturing it correctly the way you described it. But yes,
But
that is right.
funnily
Yeah,
enough, what he
Yep.
said is that,
what it
and
is.
is
It
in,
is. It's exactly
and
what's
was
there.
in my
it
brain.
is.
Yeah.
I didn't picture it like that though. All right. Damn.
Dan, you
All right,
should
the
have
next
said,
two
and
are
Michael
gettable.
Jackson is in the background.
Well, then it gives it away.
Ibanez, did you get it? He got Last of Us. I wonder if he got Moonwalker.
I doubt it.
Probably not.
No. I
Last
doubt
of Us was, yeah, I guess people getting that one. All right, we're on to ones I think you guys should get. All right, let's go with this one first. Caped gunmen stand on rocky ground as giant planet looms in background.
Sorry, what was
Xbox
that?
360. Caped gunmen stand on rocky ground as giant planet looms in background.
Caped gunman.
Caped. Gunmen.
One more time, please. Sorry.
Caped gunmen stand on rocky ground as giant planet looms in background.
Wait, gunmen, MEN or MAN?
MEN.
Ooh.
I know what
Got
this
it.
is.
Got it.
I'm certain I know what this is, but I
Got
believe
it.
that you've described it inaccurately. But that's okay.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Let's go with Alex first on this one.
Captain Underpants?
All right. Tom
The original Destiny.
and Chris.
Destiny.
It is Destiny.
Yeah. That's the Watcher, right? Is that what it was called? Or what is that thing called? It's not a
The
planet.
Traveler?
The Traveler. That's the Traveler.
Well, I'm describing it as just someone who's blindly looking at an
sure.
image. and
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
it, So
No, I'm
Destiny
not.
came out on Xbox 360?
Dude, we played it.
yes.
We played it mostly on like the
Well,
Did
it
Oh, no,
came
no,
out
we played
on
it on the-
previous. It came
Yeah.
out on One and PS4, but it was the beginning of that generation, so it was on
Yeah.
past gen consoles too.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. They are very much clothed. So I'd say Captain Underpants is the opposite of this. They
Wow.
weren't only caped. I guess I should have said caped and wearing other clothes.
Ibanez
help you
says
out a little more.
Ibanez says he's got it.
Yeah.
He got it.
Hell yeah.
All right. And the
He
last
plays
one.
a lot of Destiny, so he knows what's up.
Last
Captain
one.
Underpants.
Last one.
Mustached doctor holds a thermometer and smiles at clipboard with creatures and pills behind him.
Oh,
This came
I know
out
this.
for Game Boy.
Yeah.
I know this. You're gonna need a tiebreaker.
I probably will. All right. Everyone want to say it all at once?
Sure.
One,
Doctor.
two,
Dr.
three.
Mario.
Mario.
Dr.
Yeah.
Mario.
Mario.
That
Dr.
is correct.
Mario.
I just enjoy the cover of this game. 'cause
When
it's
are you going
fucking
to
weird.
Super Mario? When are you going to Nintendo World, Chris?
Friday. Next Friday.
Oof. Right. Oh, next Friday. Okay. Very nice.
I love the fact that he's holding a clipboard and not a pen, but a thermometer in his hand. Just because it's a doctor thing to have.
Yep.
But,
Where's he gonna put it?
It's Dr. Mario. I gotta find. Okay, I gotta find another game randomly.
Yeah, Tuna's out
Oh, I'm out. Yeah,
because he doesn't play video games.
Yeah.
He's not a
That's
real
right.
gamer.
that's
All
right.
right. All right. Let's see. I'll pick something randomly that we haven't done before though, because we've done some of these. All right. Let's see if you guys get this one. Once it loads, so I can see it better. This is I guess I should have had a better tiebreaker already. All right. Sure. White square-headed character jumps from land block to land block with lighthouse in background.
I mean, I know what this is, which is so annoying.
White square-headed character jumps from
I'm
block to block with a
pretty
lighthouse.
sure-
in
Land block
background.
to land block. Yeah.
Dan, is this correct?
I don't know. I haven't seen your text yet. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I know this game because I told Alex about it.
One more time, Dan.
I mean, white square-headed character jumps from land block to land block with lighthouse in background.
The way he's trying to picture it.
I'm trying to remember what I'm saying every time I'm repeating it, by the way.
Oh, right, because you're coming up with it on a whim. Yeah, I'll throw a guess, and then we'll. Yeah, my guess is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. And then
That is
Chris.
Incorrect. Chris, tell us what it is.
Fez. Great game.
It is Fez.
Great game. One of my favorite puzzle games of all
Ah,
time.
there's a
Fucking amazing.
There's a fucking lighthouse there.
Honestly, I had to think about it for a
Damn
second
it.
because it's not really like a platforming game. So I'm like, why would Fez be jumping though? Why is there a lighthouse? And then I'm like,
That's
actually, I
just the
think
way
that's
it's
just
on
the
the
fucking
cover.
artwork.
Yeah.
But white square-headed character was the giveaway.
Yeah.
So great. I got
There we
first.
go.
Tom got
We
second.
got a winner.
Alex got third. Yay! Dan, why don't you leave him a little taste, little message? Because all of our information's in the show notes. We don't need to read that out every time. So Dan,
That's true. It's good to be back. It's been a while. I've been thinking about what I was going to say when I came on the show, and I came up with absolutely fucking nothing over the course of a month and a half. So I'm just glad to be back. This was fun. And yeah,
It's happy back.
I guess there's a lot more song left because usually 4 of us talk during this period of time. And now I'm just kind of vamping and waiting for it to get close to the end so I could say, suck it.
all right. Tuna,
Stay
what'd you get up to and
ranked.
lost? Yeah, stay unranked. They know.